In fact, when we talk of stem cells, it's a wide subject, and in the innovations of medicine, this is one of the most brightest subject which is coming up now, having its own thoughtful process on the base of biology and cell behavior. Now, today, if you see all chronic diseases, degenerative diseases, developmental disorders, cancers, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, metabolic disorders, these are the targets which are worked out by using stem cell technology.
So as far as corona is concerned, because today this is the most widely talked about disease, has there been considerable, not research, but achievement as far as using the stem cells is concerned? Hello viewers, welcome to yet another show on the Connect series. In fact, we have recently changed the name of our channel to the Connect TV. So we have Dr. Pradeep Mahajan with us to explain the importance of stem cell research and how this research is going to be very important even in tackling, particularly in the context of the COVID. So over to Dr. Mahajan. Dr. Mahajan, welcome to the show. For our viewers, for the benefit of our viewers, please explain the importance of stem cell research.
Kumar, let me first of all thank you for me being here, you calling me here on your channel, Connect. I'm really thankful and give an opportunity to viewers about the new innovations happening in the medicine.
Yes, sir.
In fact, when we talk of stem cells, it's a wide subject, and in the innovations of medicine, this is one of the most brightest subject which is coming up now, having its own thoughtful process on the base of biology and cell behavior. Now, last 10 years, it has leaped and bounced up in such a way it is bypassing the mainstream of science and helping for all chronic, viral, infective, as well as autoimmune diseases and cancers are being tackled, since these are not treatable with the standard medical care.
Okay.
Now, the stem cell research is based on the biological cell behavior. In fact, I always say we carry our repairing kits in our own body. Means these stem cells do a job of wear and tear normally in your body subconsciously, which you are not aware. In fact, the same wear and tear in stem cell science we are using as a therapy to treat the untreatable conditions like autoimmune cancers. And now in the current scenario where the entire world is burning with the fire of viral infection, which we call as an COVID, that is COVID-19, because it started somewhere in 19, and co-virus is an virus which is coronavirus, belongs to the family of the coronavirus. Now this we call it a novel virus because it has got a new genome. Now in such cases we don't have a standard care. Now if we see, our body is protected from all the viral infections since we are born, and this is done by our immune system. So I believe we have a strong immune system and cell components in the body to deal with any new virus which can come, because in such cases, I call our body to be a bioreactor, and the cells respond to the antigen of the virus which comes in our body, bacteria which comes in our body, or protozoa comes in our body responds with the rejection. Our immune system comes in the action to produce antibodies to deal with these viruses.
But Dr.
In the current scenario also.
Yeah, Dr. Mahajan, how does this stem cell treatment work? What do doctors do when they say I'm treating XYZ for cancer or any other disease with a stem cell? What exactly happens?
When we talk of a stem cell means it has got a regeneration, it has an immunomodulatory property, and third, it can be replicated again and again. Okay. What is more important is the immunomodulation. What is cancer? When we talk of a cancer is suppressed immune system in our body,
yes,
which is not dealing with the abnormal cells produced in the body. Now, when we use a stem cells, we talk of a cell component which is called a natural killer cell, that is cytotoxic cells in the body, and DC cells which produce the kind of antibodies as well as cells which can attack to these cancer cells. Which is the normal mechanism of the body. In stem cells, we use this technology to kill the cancer cells.
Now, how do you do the treatment? Do you inject these cells, and
I'll explain you. Nice question. Now, these we can produce by taking your peripheral blood from the patient. We take a peripheral blood, or haploidentical from the first half cousin, first brother or sister or parents. Take a 50 ml of blood, isolate from them natural killer cells, and activate them using IL-2 is one of the cytokine which gives the fighting power to the cells. And these cells again we inject in the body through IV. These cells are armamentum cells which powered with to fight with the cancer. This is how we can deal with the cancer, or locally we can inject the immune system cells in the body.
Which means you take blood from a healthy patient, healthy person, and inject into mix with the blood of the patient and then re-inject.
Yeah. What is more important, a healthy person means he has to be haploidentical. He has to be brother, sister, father sharing 50% genes with the patient.
No, but when a child is born, there is a poster, there is a sign which says, please preserve your stem cells. So what do you do with those kind of stem cells? Are they useful? Are they used in similar fashion?
Yes, those we see the posters which indicate the hematopoietic stem cells, which are bone marrow cancers.
Okay.
Those we preserve in the cryopreservation, and whenever you have a blood cancers of any type of blood cancers, that time we eradicate the cancer cells from the bone marrow and reimplant these cells through IV to the bone marrow, which are healthy cells. And
Okay.
these are the hematopoietic stem cells.
In common man's language, it's like when there's an enemy attack, when there's a terrorist attack, the security forces go, destroy the enemy, and then sanitize the area so that there is no fresh attack and the people are safe. Does it work that way?
That is what the mesenchymal stem cell do in our body, natural killer cells do. What your synergy, what you are given here is perfect synergy.
Okay. So now getting back to the stem cell again, as you said, a healthy person's blood is taken out, you do some research and then mix it with or you do IV with to the man with the disease, to the patient. So if any disease can be treated this way, if I have a healthy person in my family, if I get an attack of either corona or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, I don't have to go for any drug. Simply by this stem cell treatment, can I be treated? Can I be cured?
As far corona and chest pneumonias are concerned and fibrosis of the lung is concerned, MSCs of any source can be used from any, like the cord tissue, cord blood, or placenta even. Even the donor bone marrow, which is approved in US for the trial purpose as well as therapy purpose in lung infections, particularly for corona and pneumonias, from bone marrow MSCs from any donor.
If this is possible, even if it is theoretically possible, as we've been saying, why are we going for all these drugs, expensive drugs? Suppose I have a cancer, I have to spend minimum 8 to 10 lakh rupees on a hospital. If I have a heart disease, can heart disease be treated?
If you down the line see 10 years, what is going to happen? The domain of the science is changing from allopathic science to biological science. Okay. In every science, this science is going to change the antibiotic actions, regeneration action, immunomodulatory action, anti-inflammatory action, or anti-cancer action, anti-fibrosis, degeneration, all those diseases which we today have a challenges to treat with the main line of stream sciences can be done using by stem cells, and cellular products like growth factors, like cytokines, chemokines, exosomes, and chaperones. These are the various medical terminologies, but I don't have other terminologies which I can use for a common man to understand. But I can say these are the nanoparticles produced by the cells.
Okay, nanoparticles produced by the cells. Somewhere I heard even homeopathy, they have been doing some research on the nanoparticles. Is it
yes
to that?
Yes, true, very true.
So can homeopathy and allopathy work together in research?
No, homeopathy and allopathy cannot work together. Allopathy is a separate foundation which is based on killing the cells. Because when we treat the cancer, we try to kill the cell. When we try to do antibiotics, we try to bacteria life killing. Whereas homeopathy and stem cell research, they are synergic. They try to don't kill the cancer cells, but they don't kill the cells, but they try to improve the immune system, defense system of the body, and target them.
Okay. So you mean to say both are important, because when enemy attack is there, first you shoot the enemy, then make sure that second enemy doesn't enter.
Regeneration is also important. Otherwise, they'll end the fibrosis.
Yeah. So I think that's a great finding, a great research that's going on. Do you foresee a situation where the pharma companies will lose their importance when this kind of research progresses?
If you see globally, the major global players in pharma company like Pfizer, Novartis, they are already in the cell-based therapy. They are already, Novartis has got the first world license for treatment of cancer by name of CAR T cells.
Okay.
Which are CAR T cells are genetically modified T cells to target the cancer cells. So almost all pharma companies are becoming the big players in the stem cell research.
That means they are evolving themselves, progressing into.
Yeah, because they don't have any option. They don't have any option.
They don't have any option. Yeah. Like, once upon a time we used to work on the typewriter. We got into computers. Now we got to laptops.
Yes, very well.
Yeah, the technology, we have no option but to go with the technology, go with the wind.
Adopt the technology. Adopt the technology. Otherwise, see, if there is no change, and if you follow the 100 years before research today, it will perish. Anything which is changing has to be adopted.
Yeah. So what kind of diseases are being treated other than the cancer and bone marrow with this stem cell treatment?
Now, currently, almost all type of blood cancers from pediatric to adult can be treated using bone marrow transplant, using the hematopoietic stem cells from if they are preserved at the childhood, when the baby is born, or otherwise we can go HLA matching, which is called as the immunological competent cells, which are matching to the donor. These cells, we take it from the bone marrow of the donor and can be used for the bone marrow transplant in all type of bone marrow cancers. Plus, nowadays, the science has advanced so much so, almost all solid tumors like cancers of the kidney, brain, breast, bone are also treatable using immunomodulatory system of the natural killer cells or DC cells or IL-2, which can be used to target the cancer cells when they are non-operable in collaboration or in association with the chemotherapy. And they give wonderful results.
Yeah, which means the cells taken, the stem cells preserved during the birth of a child, those stem cells can be used basically for cancer, all types of cancer, any other disease like, is it possible to treat, the Alzheimer's and those kind of diseases?
Yes, they can be used for blood cancers as well as other organ diseases, degenerative diseases we can call it, like Alzheimer, Parkinson, those are neurological or respiratory diseases, or even you can treat the interstitial lung diseases or other type of breast diseases or cancer. Apart from cancer, autoimmune diseases like type 1 diabetes, they can be used.
This is the theoretical part, but practically, have doctors been able to treat patients with such issues, such problems?
In fact, if you see the clinical trial GOV, the maximum research is on the stem cells, and there are many FDA approved drugs which are called as in stem cells, which are approved in US, Korea, Japan, are being used for many of degenerative conditions like Parkinson, Alzheimer, or even traumatic brain injuries can be used, or skin diseases can be used, even Crohn's disease can be done.
This is as far as America, Europe, and Korea is concerned, Japan. But what about India? Have we not made any progress?
In fact, India is nowhere behind of these countries. Indian government has also taken a leading steps in stem cell research. In fact, they have been a very pro-positive, and a lot of clinical trials are going on in India also to treat this kind of solid tumors, or even solid tumor is already approved in India for DC cells and NK cells as a drug molecule for clinical trials. Is already approved. Then mesenchymal stem cells are approved for peripheral gangrene in India. So India is also nowhere less. They are also leading in the same way, the way US or Japan or Korea is going.
Any leading hospitals are doing it? Is it happening at the ICMR government level? Is ICMR encouraging?
In fact, clinical trials, ICMR is inviting clinical trials very much. And those clinical trials are approved for treating these kind of conditions after fulfilling the government rules and regulations of stem cell research.
Doctor, the experience over the past 1 year has been that because of the COVID, many other diseases have taken the back step. In the sense, they are in the back burner, like people with heart and lungs and many other diseases. Teeth, for instance. People have not been attending to that. People are scared to go to hospitals. Diabetes, for instance, hypertension. People have not been visiting doctors, and they has been neglected. And there have been warnings at the level of WHO also that these non-communicable diseases also equally important. They should be attended to, and the death rate or fatality in these kind of diseases is going to increase. So, has the stem cell research taken a backseat because of Corona?
In fact, if you see the globally GOVI in clinical trials, you will see mesenchymal stem cells, NK cells, autologous as well as allogenic from the cord tissue or the placenta are on the forefront of clinical trials, particularly in Israel, US. Also in India, some of the trials have been, though they are not approved, but they are in the process of final approval, where mesenchymal stem cells are being used and recommended for corona-like viral infection, which is a novel disease. And then finding a drug was difficult for us. In that conditions, natural killer cells and cancer for MSCs have been tried in many countries, particularly USSR, USA, Japan, Israel, Korea. They have been approved drug as for trial for coronavirus. In the tertiary stage also, when the patients are on ventilator, these cells definitely resolve the complete inflammation in the lungs. The reason being that when you use mesenchymal stem cells, they are immunomodulatory and anti-inflammatory. A normal course of natural function of that cell, and when we give IV these cells, they first land in the lungs, where you have got main pathology of pneumonia. That is why these drugs, particularly, I will call them drugs only, because in Indian scenario, all stem cells, they come under the category of drug. After the clinical trial, you can use them like a drug. And when you give these MSCs intravenous or natural killer cells intravenous, they resolve the lung inflammation. There is no fibrosis as well. One most important point I would like to add for you is that post-COVID symptoms, which are called as fibrosis of the lung, which also will not be there, because these mesenchymal stem cells, they are anti-fibrotic, antiviral, as well as they are anti-inflammatory.
So, which means the long COVID symptoms will disappear with this kind of a treatment, you mean to say?
Yes.
And you've been using a lot of medical, technical terms, as we say, jargon. But when that cell is injected in through the IV, say for a corona patient, what exactly happens inside the lung? You use the.
I'll explain you.
I'll
explain you.
Yeah.
And for a common man, I'll explain you. When the mesenchymal stem cells are given intravenous, if you see, the first venous blood goes to the lungs. That is in the chest. Okay. Now these cells, they lodge there. They get engulfed in the lungs. When they sit in the lungs around the inflammatory pneumonia, they release antibiotics, they release anti-inflammatory, as well as they suppress the immune system, which is causing inflammation. That is how they can control the entire pneumonia in the first setting itself. And that is how the patients can benefit, for a layman to understand, by using mesenchymal stem cells when given intravenous, acting on the lungs.
See, Mumbai is generally seen as the medical capital of India. A lot of medical research goes there. A lot of medical tourism also happens in Mumbai, and of course in Bangalore as well. So, as far as stem cell research is concerned, which city you think is leading as far as India is concerned?
In India, if you see, Bangalore and Bombay are the leaders in stem cell research.
Okay. And are we doing research on all kinds of disorders, decaying diseases like from about cancer, maybe tuberculosis, could be corona, Parkinson, things like that? Which are the main diseases that you are attacking today?
Now, today, if you see all chronic diseases, degenerative diseases, developmental disorders, cancers, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, metabolic disorders, these are the targets which are worked out by using stem cell technology. Because mainstream science can treat the regular diseases, whereas those diseases cannot be treated by standard medical care, stem cells and their products and cell-based science can treat those conditions because they can regenerate, bring the body in the function the way it was before going into disease. Like tuberculosis, you mentioned the word tuberculosis. If you see in India, there is a lot of happening and talk about the resistant tuberculosis. MDR, we call them. Now, these cases, we don't have drugs to deal with them, and they are toxic drugs, leading to the toxicity of the patient more than the benefit of it.
Correct.
Now, in such situation, if you even give 1 or 2 doses, intravenous and intramuscular cells, intramuscular IV doses of mesenchymal stem cells, MDR responds very well to mesenchymal stem cells, and the lungs, which instead of going into fibrosis, become expansile, elastic, and go back to normal function, controlling the infection.
So if you need to take either bone marrow or IV blood from a healthy patient, what are the precautions that you take to make sure that that guy is really healthy?
Now, we have to rule out all the viral infection first of all. Then morbid conditions like diabetes, thyroid, all other those things are to be ruled out before we take any kind of sample for clinical trial or research.
Okay.
These are the healthy donors which can be taken into clinical trials or study of the stem cells by doing any kind of research using them for the growth purpose or even petri dish purpose in the lab. They are going to be used from a healthy donors. Or there is one more benefit of it, that the disease patient cells like Parkinson's cells or even cancer cells, this can be also used for trial purpose in the lab as if a living model of the disease. On that, we can do the trial of various drugs also.
Oh, I see. So that means people should be freely donating these cells. Like you go for blood donation, you go for plasma donation. Can a Parkinson or a Alzheimer's patient donate his blood, his cells for this kind of research? Do you invite people to doing that?
Oh, yeah, they can donate for the research purpose. Definitely, they will find out what is happening in the cell component or cell which is leading to degeneration or damage of the cell. It is happening globally everywhere.
The clinical trials is one word which is being very widely used. I think the meaning of clinical trial for a common man, it means that testing it on a live person rather than on a guinea pig.
In fact, when we talk of a clinical trial, it indicates 2 important things. There are certain norms of the clinical trial which are to be approved by ICMR and Central Drug Control Authority of India, where we have to see the safety first and efficacy second. If the drug is very safe, then it has to prove that there is no side effect or no action taking bad as an rejection or any kind of, you can say, any kind of
bad effect, side effect.
Reaction on the patient.
So as far as corona is concerned, because today this is the most widely talked about disease, has there been considerable, not research, but achievement as far as using the stem cells is concerned? What is your experience?
If you ask me as an biological researcher or stem cell researcher or researcher in regenerative medicine, yes, we need to focus on these kind of technologies in coronavirus diseases also, because they are the basic part of our body, our defense system, which can help us to defend this kind of viral infection naturally by inducing immunomodulation in our body.
Is there any scientific body or a platform which is encouraging or proposing this kind of a suggestion to the government to allow to encourage stem cell based research for corona?
In fact, there are a lot of stem cell research organizations in US. Also, Stem Cell Society is also there. International Stem Cell Organization is also there. These are the organizations which take up the basic criteria to enhance and encourage the stem cell practice and go for the clinical trial approvals from, in Indian scenario, ICMR. Like in other countries, they have their own research bodies which approve them, and FDA-like bodies which can approve the clinical trials.
But unfortunately, this has not been talked about much. People have been only talking about the vaccine, the drugs, the three formula, the tri formula, all those things. Only people have been talking about. Unfortunately, not enough discussion is happening in public platform about the stem cell research. What do you think is the reason for it?
The reason is that this is still a gray area for the common man.
Okay. So not to
Still a gray area. It is not in a mainstream science still. It is in the research. So it will take a time for any, if you see the antibiotic era when we have completed 100 years in 2012 for penicillin, first people did not believe that antibiotics will kill the bacteria.
Yes.
It took years to gather people to accept it. Even vaccine, when came in 1950s and 60s for polio, people could not believe the entire polio could be cured by using vaccine. It took years for the common man and medical science to approve this science. So we are in the same phase where people and science has to accept this science gradually in the teaching system, academic system, as well as research system. So it is not very far off. Another 5 or 10 years, they will come in the mainstream science.
So I think a lot of research still has to be done before you jump to any conclusions.
Yes, we have to prove a lot of safety things first.
Okay. So whatever we have discussed so far, it is all theoretical. It is possible. This can be done. That can be done. That is possible. This is not possible.
No, it's not a theoretical. It is already in the clinical trial. But to come into mainstream, these clinical trials are to be completed, proved as a safety, and they will come into mainstream.
Great. So wish you then medical fraternity all the best for this research. And I think hopefully very soon we will have them in the public domain. A lot of discussion will take place. It requires a lot of transparency, I think, because so far it is still seen as a hidden subject, So I think
yes,
should creep in, step in, and I'm sure ICMR, WHO, these kind of organizations also will take lead in further growth of this science. So thank you very much, Dr. Mahajan, for your time. Had a very enlightening discussion.
Thank you, Kumar, for me being here, and I could give the best of information. And definitely, we look forward this science another 10 years to change our lives.